How's it going, guys? Welcome back to my market update. As per my previous video, I was talking about Bitcoin potentially bouncing straight up to the rebound zone at the 0.618 to 0.65 area. That's what we've done. And we've had a sharp decline into below these wicks, taking out some of that liquidity at each of these levels. And actually what I was looking at on the higher time frame, if we were to look at the RSI, let's go to the RSI here and move it up. I'll go over the money, what's this called again? Money flow something? I'll call it a money flow indicator. We'll go over that later, but something that I was watching out on the RSI on the higher time frame was the sort of highs in this level, creating a divergence with this high and confirming the right shoulder here. I thought there could have been an opportunity for the price to decline further down to the $85,000 region. However, I think what happened here was that obviously there was a lot of demand right below in this area, and also consensus on an idea, meaning everyone thinking the same thing, generally means that it becomes more difficult for that idea to play out, because once you hear a lot of people saying something is going to occur, they're taking action en masse on that decision, right? So people are trying to short into this area, and it becomes a crowded trade whereby there isn't enough energy, especially if there's demand in that area, to push the price down. And what subsequently happens is, because there's a lot of leverage being put on, once the price starts reversing, those people in the crowded trade get pushed out of their positions and become forced buyers. And that's what sort of has happened here, where the price has gone back up to this upper trend line. Ideally, what we want to be seeing, if we want this continuing, is the price coming up like this. But at the moment, it looks like this has a really good potential to be a low within the price action in the mid-term. Looking at Tau, because that is my sort of main bag, I've just put a Bitcoin fractal over the top. Let's just move it out the way. But what's happened here is similar to what happened with Bitcoin, and I think the structure is still intact and quite good. It didn't really go much lower than these lows here, taking out that liquidity. I'm still long on Tau, and it still looks really good. And we can go into BTC dominance as well. I'm going to go through each and every single one of these just so we can have an idea. Excuse all that garbage. But again, we can see that the local rebound zone has acted as a pivot point for the BTC dominance to pivot from, and it happens to align with things such as the Bitcoin low as well. Let's go over to the bond market as well. Bond market, I was saying that we probably don't see the 2-year bonds going above this rebound zone, and probably starts to roll over into the later half of this year, and that could signify potential issues within the stock market in general. And I'm suspecting once this decline starts to happen, that's when the stock market starts unwinding. Something worth looking at as well here is the S&P 500. S&P 500, personally, from a what I've been speaking to friends about, is a gap fill between these two levels that I've drawn out previously from the gap being created. Right, so it's filled that gap and it's bounced from that area, and you can see on futures it's pretty strong as well, and that also aligns with Bitcoin bottoming. So the demand isn't like a sort of just a Bitcoin thing. It's a whole market thing where it's correlated together. And there seems to be, some degree of beta between the stock market as well as cryptocurrencies that is not disconnected just yet. Cool. Let's go on to some nuanced discussion on a more nuanced discussion on where potentially this, you know, this alt season's going to go. And I think that's what people want to know about, right? And this is going to be an interesting topic because this is something I picked up just recently and something that people should be aware of. And if you've stuck around for this long, beautiful, because this is going to add to your book of confirmations, right? So go to the weekly I'm using Coinbase at the moment. You can use Bitstamp or just some chart which has information from, a bit back, and use MFI. MFI is a money flow indicator, and something that I've picked up is the trend line that's created, the bottom trend line that's created throughout the actual bull market cycle. Once it breaks down and retests, that signifies the retest of the peak, right? What I mean by that, let's zoom in here for a second. So the breakdown occurs, the top actually occurs before this breakdown, and then it retests that line, which is the RZ area here, before breaking down completely. And that's all fine and good, right? But the point is that alt season, or the last phase of alt season, happens on the secondary peak where the RZ occurs. RZ, remembering, is the rebound zone, which is the 0618 to 065 area. So that last bounce here, alts actually go higher during that period, and that is like a redistribution of the liquidity within crypto, right? And you can see the exact same thing occur here. So a break occurs here, right? A break of this trend line occurs there. A retest above. Let me a retest above to the rebound zone area, right? And I've said in the past that you want that stop loss if you were to be shorting, and that's another setup as well, outside of just waiting for the secondary alt pump that pushes things up to their highs. Is placing a stop above the 065 at 0786 and shorting that area as well. So as you can see, the line breaks, which signifies the top, and also a retest below, which is a confirmation and a point of confluence for shorting 065 to 0618, or the RZ, right? You can see this occur sort of here as well within this cycle, and it ends up in a consolidation, and you can see the price come back. It creates a situation where the price starts to stagnate, right? And you can see the same thing occur here. If we were to draw a line, the price starts to stagnate. Let me draw it out for you guys, just so we're not just so we're all on the same page here, right? Probably out here, right? That makes more sense. Yep, and the line breaks, as you can see. Don't worry, guys. I'm going to get to the point soon. But this is a really good way of, seeing when risk is increasing and when to be taking profits once again, right? Now, where are we in the current phase of this rally? It looks like we're very far away from this trend line, right? So, in my opinion, there isn't, if we were to take each one of these scenarios and compare it to right now, are we near a top? And my answer to that is, even if this were to go down, there's probably a lot more opportunity to the upside, and you're better off banking on the upside until there's a breakdown of this line, wherever it may be on this side, and holding onto alt until there's like a retest of an RZ. So let's say it goes up to like 175, for example, right? Alt season occurs throughout here, yeah. Final leg of alt season occurs here, and I'll demonstrate this using Ethereum. Let's use Ethereum. Okay, perfect. Let's go to the 2017 bull market. All right, we don't even. I'll use another chart with more history, which is the Kraken chart. I've got it right here. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So let's go to the Kraken chart. I've got heaps of history. There's a huge wick here, but you know that is just an outlying situation due to liquidity on Kraken. Where is this? Oh yeah, back here. Perfect. All right. So, I'm using the weekly chart here, but you can see as I line up the top of the Bitcoin cycle here, this is where Bitcoin tops out by the looks of things, right? Or, yeah, around here. Bitcoin tops out around there, and the secondary peak is created it's not exact here, but I will make this color orange or yellow or whatever that color is, yellow, just so you can see the secondary peak here is when the final distribution into alts or BTC dominance dumping. I'll use BTC dominance chart as well, and you can see this occur. And I'll move this over here. Don't worry guys, I will make it exact as possible, right? You can see May 10th, right? 12th of May, it's about right. 10th of May, what's the secondary date? 5th of April, right? 5th of April is that break. 5th of April, right? Maybe I can even fast forward it a bit until this thing breaks down, right? And that little dip in Bitcoin causes the dip here before the final rally into the rebound zone on the right shoulder, right? So that's sort of what we're looking out for. And that's how you know when to probably exit your altcoin. So let's do a hypothetical situation here, right? Let's use our fucking imaginations for fucking once, right? And I'm not going to go through the measurements of where Ethereum is going to end up, but let's see what it looks like. So let's say Ethereum goes up to like 6,600, Bitcoin dips like here, right? And then it does its right shoulder. This is sort of what you're looking out for, right? And you can even say, oh, there's a fucking divergence there. And yeah, that's what it is. It's sort of a price divergence, right? This is sort of how you'll probably know when to exit. And I'll tell you what, there's something that people really need to consider as well, is that maybe exiting on this left shoulder isn't too bad, right? Especially if you've held down from the very low lows, because getting into this scenario is you never know, right? This situation might not happen again, where the right shoulder causes further distribution into altcoins. Yes, it's happened in the past, multiple occasions. At the moment, there's only 2 data points. In the grand scheme of things, on like how liquidity works, yes, it's probably going to happen, but starting to de-risk when we think the top has come in or is near, that would be my point of, starting to consider exiting. And from a timing perspective, right? From a timing perspective, what I'm looking at here, I know this is a long fucking video, but if you're going to accomplish anything in this market, perhaps, having an attention span of a grown adult is going to be helpful to you. As you can see from the dates down below, I've marked dates from around October, if I'm not mistaken, October till around April, so end of Q1, right? October to end of Q1. So end of Q1 is sort of what I'm looking at for a potential top, because in this cycle so far, pretty much after Q1 is when the large fucking consolidations have occurred, right? And I'm going to delete some of this just so our eyes can, rest a bit. We're sort of like in this zone here, in the middle of Q1 for like an expansion phase, right? So we're just slowing down here for the time being before I believe we're going to expand straight, push up for a final leg in Q1. And what this, and I've said this on my channel before, it completes a pattern in the Elliott wave, like so. And this is the final push, probably for this particular structure, before I don't know what happens after the right side of the complete Elliott wave. But potentially, that's probably where the market tops out, should it play out. So if we start consolidating somehow in some way, and we just don't complete this Elliott wave properly, and then we can push into end of 2026, great, okay, whatever. That is a longer cycle, but should we see anywhere in the vicinity of 150,000 to 180,000 due to my measurement here, I'll just show you how it's done. Right, it's on log, by the way. It's aligning exactly with the channel as well. I know this is super duper messy because I've got my other things drawn, but if we see between the vicinity of 150-ish thousand to 190,000, like in this top corner here, end of March, I am probably going to be selling off most things. So hopefully that has been somewhat helpful. Bit of a longer video, but hopefully we can take something away, and I can come back in a couple of weeks to see how everybody's doing. Peace.